Hello, welcome to Vicky Makes and Builds. Right, I've got an interesting one for you today. You might be wondering why I have a puzzle in front of me and also a pot of pens in front of me. Well, the reason for that is because this puzzle that I'm going to do for you today is just a little bit different. It's called a Colour Me Therapy puzzle. And it's 500 pieces. It's by Clementoni. I'll show you a picture of it. I'll just kind of hold it up just now, although you do get reflections sometimes. It's a Clementoni and it's a 500 piece puzzle and it's all in black and white. And the idea is that you build the puzzle and then you colour the puzzle in afterwards. Now, I had not heard of a Colour Me Therapy puzzle until very recently. I was just browsing on the internet. And I actually was, specifically looking for puzzles, new and interesting ones, just having a look at different websites. And I found this Clementoni puzzle on one of the websites. And I thought, well, that looks really cool and interesting. I've never really seen a puzzle like that before. Now, I have seen adult colouring books that, is meant to kind of relax you and things when you colour them in. I actually have one myself. And this picture's very kind of similar idea to that. Lots of small details on it and patterns that you colour in. And I do think that this is meant to be an adult puzzle. But the children will be involved in this video because I thought that I would build the puzzle, but I thought that they might enjoy actually colouring it in with me at the end. Hence the reason for the pens. Now, the funny story with this particular puzzle is that I saw this puzzle online and I kind of sort of earmarked it to get one day for a video. And then I was browsing around the charity shops recently and I actually found this puzzle on the shelf, still sealed, in the shrink wrap. So I actually managed to get a brand new copy of this puzzle for £2. So I was very, very pleased and I grabbed it straight away and I thought I would do it for you today. Unfortunately, I have not finished my 6,000 piece Educa puzzle yet. I have got back on with that and I'm really far into it. I've made some good progress on it this week, but unfortunately I've just not been able to finish it for a video this week. So I thought I'd give this one a go. I will open it up and I'll do a kind of an analysis of the pieces and everything like I always do. I've done plenty of Clementonis on the channel. However, I wonder how much of a difference it will make that this is a colour-in puzzle. I don't know if the texture of the pieces will be any different. It'll be interesting to see. But I'll open it up, I'll have a look at the pieces for you, and I will build the puzzle for you. And I actually think this might be quite a hard puzzle because it's only black and white, although there is a lot of detail on it, but it might be quite challenging to build. We'll see. I'll see how I get on with that. But once I've built it, I'm going to get the children to come and join me, and we'll decide between us which bit we're each going to do, and we'll colour this puzzle in for you. But for now, let's get this puzzle opened up and we'll see what it's all about. Right, so let's get this box opened up. I'm going to take the cellophane off. Decent box, as I would expect from Clementoni. Very sturdy, thick cardboard. Can't get the cellophane off as per normal. Using my hands. There's a little bit of a kind of a dip in the lid, but I think I got it from a charity shop. I don't know if it's been stacked in amongst other puzzles. It's not that obvious, but now the cellophane's off. Just quick run through of the box really. It's predominantly black and white. Obviously that's because the nature of the puzzle, with it being a colour-in puzzle, most of it's in black and white, but they have given you a bit of an example of what the puzzle might look like with some colour to it. They've kind of gone for a bit of a gradient here with the colours. But all it really is the picture. It's got the Clementoni brand logo in the bottom corner, and it's there's a circle here that says it's a Colour Me Therapy puzzle, and it's 500 pieces. Around the sides of the box, you've pretty much got more of the same information. So here you've got, again, the puzzle piece count. You've got a little snippet of the picture there with some colour and Colour Me Therapy. This end is pretty much the same. Little snippet of the picture, Colour Me Therapy, 500 pieces. Same on that side. And then this side is just slightly different. You actually have a miniature version of the entire picture, and that is completely like blank of colour. There's no colour there. We've got a barcode, we've got the Colour Me Therapy, we've got the piece count, and this here is the size of the puzzle, which is 49 by 36 centimetres, which is 19 1/3 by 14 1/5 inches. On the back of the puzzle, you've got just a graphic of some puzzle pieces together. I have no idea if this is a true reflection of the actual puzzle, but I mean, it's quite zoomed in and it's only a small proportion, so even if it was, I'm sorry, my camera doesn't seem to like the back of this puzzle and it keeps going in and out of focus, so I won't stay on this bit for long, but just to let you know that there's kind of a puzzle piece graphic here, and there's some information on the back in different languages that basically just tells you that it does not come with the felt tip pen, so you have to use your own felt tip pens for this. And we've got the branding and information about Clementoni as well. So we'll go back to this side and hope it goes back into focus again. Yes, it did. Right, so I'm just going to take off the lid just now. And we have a bag of pieces. Now, just looking through the bag, these look to be good quality Clementoni pieces, as I'm used to. Got the blue cardboard backing. I'll do some close-ups of the pieces like I normally do. But essentially you've got black and white pieces, obviously. You've got all the different piece shapes accounted for. So we've got 3 ins, 1 out. We've got a standard one there. We've got 3 outs, 1 in. Again, I'll take some close-ups of these so you can see a bit better what I'm seeing here in front of me. But I mean, these are good thick pieces. There's no fraying or anything that's going on here. The image is well kind of glued on. And we've got blue cardboard backing. I don't see any stuck together, you know, that have not cut through properly. It's 500 piece puzzle this, so, you know, I wouldn't expect to see too many stuck together, so that's a good thing. There's a completely black piece there, so that must be a bit of the underside of the owl's wing. There is quite a lot of detail to the pattern, so, you know, maybe it won't be overly hard to put together. I'm not sure. It's just, you know, the lack of colour that I think might stumble me on this one in terms of difficulty, but I'll see as I go along. I'll wait till I stop, kind of reserve judgment on that. The only thing I would say about this one that's different from other Clementoni puzzles that I've done is that the pieces feel quite smooth. I don't know if that creates a bit of gloss. Normally when I do Clementoni puzzles, there tends to be a little bit of a kind of a woven finish to it. And you know, that is something I like about them. But again, this is a colour me in puzzle, so I'm wondering if perhaps, you know, the textures had to change to kind of, you know, make allowances for the fact that we're going to be colouring it in afterwards, perhaps. So, yeah, I mean, really, not much more to say about the pieces. Good pieces. Looking forward to putting it together, and really looking forward to colouring it in with Jasper and Freya. So we'll just stop talking at that. Don't have a specific kind of method for attacking this. I think I'm just going to do edges first. Maybe just use a little bit of the shuffle method. Go for kind of picking out thick lines versus thin. Maybe these blocks of black I can differentiate some of the different sections of the puzzle. I mean, it's a 500 piece puzzle, so, you know, I'm not having to kind of sift through loads and loads and loads of pieces, so probably go with the shuffle method to start with and see how I get on with that, and then if that becomes a bit laborious and slow, then I'll readopt maybe some sorting or something like that. But we'll just start by picking out some of these edge pieces and we'll take it from there. Right, so I was right. This is quite challenging already, just doing the edge. I started off, my strategy was picking out pieces with like particularly bold lines in, like this heavy kind of dark line here, and these ones here. And then eventually I sort of ran out of those kinds of pieces to put together, and I started to piece together obvious ones where it was maybe like a piece like this where there was hardly any detail on one side, and then it would match with another one where there wasn't much detail. So kind of sometimes like the busyness of the pattern on the piece was what dictated, you know, how I put them together. Now I'm literally, I don't know if you noticed from the time lapse, but I'm really just kind of going along and just piecing one after the next after the next. So I'm going up this direction now, and I'm using largely just what I can see on the pattern, but also the shape of the piece, because it's quite different shapes. Some are a bit taller or have a some have kind of like a long bit at the bottom like that, some have a shorter bit at the bottom like that, some have kind of big knobs that stick out like that, some have little tiny ones that stick out like that. So there's quite a lot of really just looking at the pieces, but I mean it's manageable because there aren't many of them, and the further around I get, the quicker it gets. So I guess that the build will probably end up a little like that as well, you know, building out the middle of it. But otherwise, yeah, so that's kind of the strategy I've adopted with putting the edge together. But it's quite hard when you're just working with, you know, just only black and white. Oh, we'll move on now. I'll finish putting this edge together and then I will tackle the inside. Probably a similar kind of way, going for bold lines first, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Right, so I've started the middle off by tackling the kind of the blocks of black, which are like the underside of the owl's wings. I can actually show you on the box now. The cat was just laid in the box, so I couldn't show you, but he's disappeared. So I'll quickly show you now. So underside of the owl's wings, there's like a big block of black, and then there's also two little blocks there just above its head, and some slightly bigger blocks sort of bordering the wings. And then you've got these chunky lines here, which are in kind of a stripy pattern. It's funny because doing those bits, it just keeps continually making me think that I'm building a zebra, but it's not, it's an owl. Of course, probably doesn't help that I'm currently building another puzzle with lots of animals in it, and the center of the puzzle is a zebra, so I've been building zebra recently, so it just kind of feels like I'm doing that. So, I mean, it is hard, this puzzle, like, because it's just like all black and white, but because it's a smaller one, it's 500 pieces, and because there are kind of some patterns, you know, like different patterns all over, it's not all the same pattern, and because there's bolder parts as well as kind of slightly more bare parts like these leaves, you know, there are kind of things I can use to make the building of it just that little bit more manageable. But I would say it's kind of like, you know, when you like, I don't know if this happens to you, but like with me, if I ever look at kind of like a checkerboard pattern or something, and it makes your eyes go a bit sort of funny, this puzzle's having a little bit of that effect on my eyes at the moment. So. But it's not, I'm not finding it stressful at all, which is a good thing because it is a colour me therapy puzzle. So I guess you're not really supposed to feel any stress. And I'm not, I am really, really enjoying it. It's just, it just kind of, because it's a colouring puzzle, so it's all black and white when you build it, it just offers that little bit of a challenge at the start, which I'm really, really enjoying. So yeah, so we're making good progress. We've got a little bit of the wings started on. My next step will be to, I've pulled out a bunch more pieces. My next step will be to work on pieces with kind of like thick, bold lines like this. There are, you can see some on the edge, there are sort of like little arcing lines along the bottom and things, so I suspect they'll go around there. We've got a couple here and one on the other side. So yeah, I'm just going to work away at those, trying to put those in. And the rest of the pieces, unless I decide to start working on some kind of specific patterns, I'm thinking that the rest will potentially be building this by shape. There are lots of different unique shapes, so that's a good thing. I mean, they're standard shapes, but they've got different sized tabs and inserts and things like that. So it should be okay to do that way if I need to towards the end. But I mean, it's filling up already just having done these blocks here. So we'll get on with these just now, and then we will tackle the rest of the pieces after. Right, so as you can see, I started sorting the pieces by shape, but I very quickly stopped. I'm not going to say I was too lazy and bored to do any more. That might have been part of the reason, but it wasn't the major reason. Really, what happened was I was starting to get them out, and as I was pulling them out of the box, I was able to kind of see more of the pieces underneath, and there were kind of textures jumping out at me that I thought I would just grab. And I thought, rather than just kind of jumping straight to shape at this point, I would maybe just have a go at some of the other textures first, because it does get a bit laborious doing it by shape. And I just kind of thought, I'm sure there's maybe other options for me at this stage in the game. I'm not even halfway through yet. So what I've done is I've pulled out a bunch of these pieces which have little dots on, which I think belong mostly to the kind of the tail and feet area of the owl. And what I've also done is pulled out a few of these kind of weird eyeball looking things, which you've got kind of around the wings. Now, I mean, I've already put together a fair bit of the wings, so any bits like that I've found that I could attach to the main kind of wings themselves, I thought that would be a good thing. I've also picked out a couple of bits that belong to the owl's head. And I've pulled out a few of these which have these kind of rows of circles on, which again is more of the wing feathers, these kind of outer wing feathers. So I'm going to just have a go at kind of working it by texture, see what I can find. There's a few, in fact there's a circle one there that I sorted. And then maybe just kind of lay them out like that as I go along, just wee bits at a time. And then the more I lay out, the more I can kind of see what I'm working with, instead of it just being a jumble of lines, black and white lines. So I'm gonna do that just now, work on these kind of textures, and then as I go along, just pop the shapes out into their piles, and yeah, just take it from there. Right, so progress so far on the owl. It is really coming together now. The head is still kind of floating, but the wings and tail are very much attached to these two top corner edges. I've got a few pieces kind of scattered there that I just think go in that general area, but I just haven't found them yet. These are what remains of the kind of the bold line pieces that I pulled out earlier. I'm just picking at them, really, just finding the spaces. In fact, I think I've just found one. Ha! Yes. Just popping them in as and when I find them, as you just saw there. These ones are the ones that remain of the minor bit of shape sorting that I did earlier. I'm actually quite enjoying just doing this texture by texture, and it's actually working quite well. So so far I've pretty much done this tail and all these spots. I've been putting together these kind of stripy areas here. A lot of these circle areas are now in place. Some of these kind of squiggly lines. The eyeball type shapes aren't really in place to a massive degree, but you know, they'll no doubt fall into place as and when. I'll put these to one side. That's just more of these kind of pieces here, and I've just recently pulled these out. These are kind of like leaves, I think, and a lot of these are down at the bottom here. You can see one there and you can see one there. It's not quite symmetrical, this puzzle. It's almost symmetrical. You've got similar things each side, but yeah, I mean, you do get a general sense that the leaves are sort of on this bit and then kind of on this bit. So I'm going to just have a go at popping these together, and that's all the pieces I've got left in the box. So it is definitely coming together now. Hope I'll get this puzzle finished today. I'm not actually timing this puzzle. I kind of feel like with a Colour Me Therapy puzzle, I shouldn't really be aiming to challenge myself or set any specific kind of goal. I really only time myself generally because people are interested in how long puzzles take me, but I just kind of don't feel like this puzzle really needs that. I think you just have to just do it at your own pace and just enjoy the process, and I'm really enjoying it. It's actually a really beautiful picture and all the patterns are really gorgeous, and I can't wait to colour this in. I started this, I think it was the day before yesterday. I didn't actually work on it at all yesterday, so this is only the second day working on it, and it's just been really good fun, and I can't wait to colour this in probably later on now with my two lovely children who are quite looking forward to colouring this in with me, but they're at school at the minute, so I'll need to wait until they get home for that. But yeah, it's going to be really good. It's going to be really good. So continuing on with these leaves. So, how's it going, Jasp?
It can get kind of boring after a while, that's all I can say.
Really? You've only just started.
I know.
Okay. So, what's making it boring? Just
sitting there, watching it fill in, whilst struggling to find the right bits that go on.
But you wanted to help me with this, though.
I still do.
Oh, okay. Is it maybe because it's late and you're just a bit tired, do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, could be. What's it like colouring in a jigsaw puzzle?
Difficult.
What makes it difficult?
Like, just going in and out of the pieces and just going up and down.
Like,
Is it like
Bumps.
bumpy?
Yeah,
Oh, that's kind of strange, eh?
it is quite strange.
Oh well.
Right, I've actually finished it. Wow, I can't believe quite how long this took me. I mean, I can't give it to you in hours, but certainly the colouring took a lot longer than I thought it was going to. Although why I thought it was going to be a quick process, I'm not entirely certain. It is so detailed, the image on this picture. There are tiny little bits and different, well, millions of different areas you can colour in all different colours. And, you know, looking at it now, it's really not surprising that it took longer than I was expecting, because there's just so much going on in this image. But, you know, that's the whole point, so that was fine. I really did enjoy it, and I think the children did too. However, they did not do quite as much as at first intended. Initially, the intent was for the three of us to each pick a section, and then we'll all kind of attack that section and do it our own way. But fairly early on in the process, I think Jasper, well, I mean, he mentions earlier in the video he got a bit bored with it, but I think as well he was perhaps a little bit questioning how enjoyable it was colouring in jigsaw pieces, which I can understand. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. Freya seemed content just to dip in and out of this puzzle, and actually I think that that's a good way of approaching a puzzle like this. Once the thing is built, because it's fairly small, it's 500 pieces, I think this puzzle could happily just sit on somebody's coffee table or sideboard or something, with some pens beside it, and you could easily just walk past the puzzle, glance at it, grab a pen, colour in a few bits, walk away, and it would fill up and grow kind of organically from there. I think that would actually be a pretty cool way of doing this puzzle, and Freya, that really was how Freya approached it. She would walk past it, see it, grab a pen, do a little bit. Often when I was colouring it, she'd come and grab a pen and do a little bit in the corner. So yeah, she did more of it than Jasper did, but she seemed more content just to kind of dip in and out of it, really. I did most of it. And I found that it really made you think. It was quite hard work, but I found the thing that made me think the most was trying to think of different colour combinations to use, because there's so much going on here. I was doing the wings and thinking, right, what 2 or 3 colours could I use here that would look good? What 2 or 3 colours could I use there that would look good that I haven't already used in these other bits, you know? So I was trying to kind of mix it up a bit, vary it a bit. And I think I've mostly managed that. It is a very, very colourful puzzle now. This might possibly be the most psychedelic owl that you have ever witnessed or seen. But I like it. I'm pleased with the result in the end. And Freya's put a little bit of her own spin on it as well. There's areas where she's kind of blended some of the colours together, and there's a bit here where she's sort of followed the lines of the puzzle pieces rather than the actual the ink lines on the image, which, you know, is cool and a bit different. So it's got a little bit of all three of us in it, which I like about it. So it's personal, you know, it's personal to us, and that is a great thing about this puzzle, I think. In terms of kind of final thoughts on this puzzle, I think the puzzle, I have to kind of separate the two elements, because for me, the puzzle was more like therapy than the colouring was. Now, I've seen colouring books with images like this in, therapy colouring books, adult colouring books, things like that are supposed to relax you when you do it. I do have one of those, and I do enjoy doing those, and obviously a lot of people, they do jigsaw puzzles and it relaxes them and it's like therapy. That is certainly the case for me. I do, however, think that mixing the two together does not necessarily create a therapeutic ambience, shall we say. There were times when I got a little frustrated with the fact that my pen just kept falling down the cracks between the pieces, or just getting stuck, you know, and didn't really sort of glide over very well. And you obviously have to you have to really push your pen into the groove where the pieces meet to get it filled in, you know, and not have this kind of white line in the middle of whatever section it is you're doing. And actually it made it hard to keep between the lines sometimes. There were moments where one piece met another. It would be at the edge of a little section I was doing, and my pen would just go over the line into the next section because the piece would just kind of send me tumbling into the next section. And that could get a little bit frustrating at times, I have to say. So I could see what they were trying to do here. I could see that it was a really cool, unique idea to mix the two together, the colouring in therapy and the jigsaw puzzle. I thought it was a really neat idea, and I do still think that. And I did enjoy this puzzle, I really did. It was very, very different, and I'm glad I did it. But I wouldn't do it again as a therapy exercise. If I wanted therapy from one of these occupations, I would either do a puzzle or I would do colouring in, but I wouldn't necessarily mix the two. And I think it's just purely a practical thing. On a piece of paper, it's smooth, you just colour, you can keep between the lines, you have a bit better control. On a puzzle, it's not smooth, it's bumpy, your pen's bumping up and down, and it takes a bit of getting used to. You do get used to it to a certain extent, you do, but there were times, for me personally, there were times when it just frustrated me a little bit, which, you know, would potentially take away from any kind of therapeutic aspect this puzzle might lend. So that would be my kind of overall assessment of it, that if you want something that's really unique and different and personal as well, then definitely go for this. It's certainly different. This is all mine and the kids. It's nobody else's. It's got our stamp on it, and I could frame this and put it on the wall and I'd have a nice memory of something that we've done together. But if you're doing it purely for the therapy aspect of it, I would say, unless you enjoy the challenge of maybe bumpy colouring in, and I would say maybe steer clear of it from a therapy point of view. The puzzle actually, I mean, if you choose not to colour it in, the puzzle is still fun, even at that. In black and white, for me that added a challenge that I actually really enjoyed, because it wasn't so difficult that it frustrated me. It had enough patterns and textures that I could build the puzzle, and it was doable, but it wasn't too easy either. It was just right, really. So for me, the actual puzzle itself, even if you weren't to colour the thing in, was great. I really did enjoy the puzzle. I thought the puzzle was fun. The colouring in I didn't enjoy quite as much, but I do like the finished result. I'm really pleased with the finished result. And actually, I'm going to do this puzzle again now it's coloured and see how I go with it. Now, I've gone with quite a loud and varied colour scheme here. So whether I've made it harder for myself doing that, I don't know. I won't be doing that in this video, but look out on my social media, things like my TikTok and my Instagram. When I do things like that, things like cool stop motions or redoing a puzzle like this, now it's coloured in, little reels and clips and things like that, I do put those on Instagram and I do put them on TikTok. So check that out, because the likelihood is I will do this puzzle again now it's coloured in, and I'll pop it up on one or both of those platforms, and you can maybe have a look at it. Might even put it up on Facebook. I'm on Facebook as well. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how much easier or harder maybe it is having coloured it in, doing the puzzle again. I think that could be quite fun. So it's definitely a puzzle you can have fun with. It's definitely a puzzle you can have fun with and try different things with and experiment with. And I really would encourage someone to give it a go. It's not gonna too much burn a hole in your pocket, I don't think. I got mine from a charity shop. It was £2. So, you know, definitely didn't burn a hole in my pocket, but it's only 500 pieces. It's really not gonna be too much of a waste of your time if you find you don't like it. I would say give it a try, especially if you like colouring. If you like colouring in as well, say definitely give it a try. It was really fun, and I'm so glad I did it. But I didn't think the colouring part of it was very therapeutic. That would be my only caveat, shall we say. But I didn't not enjoy it. I didn't hate it. I didn't find it frustrating. I just, you know, it's just easier. Colouring a smooth piece of paper, I guess, is the best way for me to put it. I'm trying to think what else I can really say. Pieces were great quality, just like all Clementonis that I've done. The fact that they didn't have that linen finish was not an issue at all. That's just purely because it's a colouring puzzle. If it had had that textured linen finish, I think that would have annoyed me as well, because it would have made it even more bumpy. So that's absolutely fine. I think they've done the right thing there. And there was no issue with glare at all either. I had no problems with, you know, too much kind of shine coming off the pieces or anything like that. So the pieces were great. And it was just a fun puzzle to do, just as a puzzle without the colouring, and it was just really fun to do. So yeah, definitely an experience. I'm going to do the pickup challenge in just a wee second, but before I do, I want to just give you a brief update. I am going to be, you may have noticed that the shelf behind me is looking a little bit barer than usual. That is because I am now in the middle of moving once again. This is the second move in about 6 months. I knew it was going to be coming at some point, I just didn't know when, and now it's happening. So I am still puzzling, and I'm doing it as much as I can, but obviously with moving house comes quite a lot of organisation and quite a lot of tasks to do. So if there is the occasional week where I'm maybe delayed with a video, or I don't have a chance to put a video up, I will keep the progress pictures coming again on my social media. So please do, if you're not following me on any of my social media, Instagram or TikTok, all the information's in the description, and you can check me out on there. And I do put progress photos up and things like that, just so you know I am still doing it. I've not completely disappeared and abandoned you. That was the reason I couldn't get a video out last week. And it might possibly be the reason that there might be delays moving forward. But the good news is I have bought myself a new shelf. So look out for a new background coming in the near future with new shelves and more space and, you know, more puzzles. So good things to come. But yeah, it was just to give you a brief update on that. I'm in the middle of moving. So please forgive me if the puzzling content doesn't come out quite as often as I would like, but I will do my best to keep it coming as regularly as I can. The Educa 6K is still being worked on. I have not just abandoned that either. It's actually really close to being done. All I've got is the green pieces to do on that now. And I'm just so close. I really want to get it finished. It's just been very difficult just in the last few days. It's been a bit hectic, but I'm gonna do that. Part 2 is coming very, very soon. So please keep an eye out for that as well. And if you haven't subscribed to me, then please do leave a like on my video and subscribe to my channel. If you liked what you've seen and you've enjoyed this video, then please join me and have a wee look at some of my other videos. We have fun. We have fun here in the Vicky Makes and Builds household. But anyway, I'll stop waffling on from that. I will say thank you so much for watching the video, and I will say happy puzzling, and I will see you next time. Oh, but quickly, puzzle pickup challenge. Now, somebody actually asked me if I could do puzzle pickup challenges at the end of every video where it might be possible to pick up the puzzle. Now, it would be foolhardy to do it on something like an Educa puzzle, so I probably won't do it on them, but I don't tend to do it on Clementoni puzzles either. However, I am going to do it on this, and we'll see how it goes. I actually think that the pen on these pieces, the ink, has made the pieces expand a little bit, and maybe it will hold together a little better than I'm thinking it will, because it does actually feel quite sturdy. Okay, so are we ready? Puzzle pickup challenge on the Colour Me in Therapy owl puzzle. Bum, 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 bum. It works! Ta-da! Puzzle pickup a success. See you next time. Bye!